Carlos Correa is a Minnesota Twin. The Phillies signed Schwarber and Castellanos. It's been a wild week, but it's been a great week. Let's go! Hello everybody, Dan Ward here for the Ward on Sports. We're talking Twins and Phillies again. After my last video talking about free agency, I had mentioned, why isn't Kyle Schwarber a Philly yet? Is Nick Castellanos even out there? We haven't heard anything. Well, look at that. The Phillies have gone and signed both of those players, and now this offense looks phenomenal. It's about to be the Broad Street Bombers over there in Citizens Bank Park. NL East, National League, be ready because the Phillies are back, baby! As I'm sure most of you know, they signed Kyle Schwarber, but then the initial thought, aside from excitement, was awesome, this is great, we got the guy we've been expecting, but we still need more. A lot of fans wanted Kris Bryant, and then all of a sudden he signed an absurd contract with the Colorado Rockies of all teams. That report was being put out, and people were like, oh, that's just classic agents saying, oh yeah, there's another team, so the team we want to go to, you better give me more money, but it turns out Kris Bryant, Rockies, not sure what their plan is. Maybe they are going to try to compete here soon, or maybe they're just getting one big guy and saying, oh no, see, we spend money, we spend a bunch of money on that guy. I don't know. Not worried about it. Not a Rockies fan. I'll look more into it later. They're in a tough NL West, so they're not going to do anything anyway. So then you saw the contract of Kris Bryant, and you're like, okay, I'm all right with not having Kris Bryant, but the Phillies still need to do something. And then Nick Castellanos posts on Instagram a shot of the Philly skyline. What does it mean? Is he trolling? What's going on? And then, boom! The report comes in that he is signing with the Philadelphia Phillies. God bless that the DH spot is here this season, because otherwise this move would not make any sense at all. And some people are worried because of defense. Oh, shush. We'll worry about defense if it ever rears its ugly head. The defensive metrics change all the time. Teams are expected to be terrible defense, and then they turn it around and are amazing, or they're at least league average. Teams that are expected to have a number one defense end up punting the ball all over the place, or guys get injured and then they stink anyway. So who knows? All right, we'll worry about defense when we need to worry about defense. We don't need to right now. Instead, we focus on the fact that this lineup has pop up and down the lineup, especially if Alec Boehm was just dealing with a sophomore slump, and if he can come back to his 2020, his rookie year performance, if Didi Gregorius was just dealing with the elbow injury, and he comes back to his 2020 form, then the only really hitter that you're kind of worried about is center field with Odubel Herrera or Matt Vierling or Luke Williams. But hey, maybe Vierling, maybe Williams are getting better, and if they can even be just an average hitter, then whew, Philly's going to win a lot of ball games. The craziest thing about this is that they actually went over the luxury tax, something that Philly fans have been pleading for years. And John Middleton, even though he's a billionaire, nitpicky, I don't want to go over the luxury tax. But they did now, and that is just so satisfying in its own right. And now the question is, are they going to still do more? The luxury tax has a $20 million gap before the cost of being over it goes up, like the percentage. It's like a tier, like you would see in taxes. Which bracket are you in for how far you've gone over the luxury tax? So now Phillies have gone over, but they technically have that space if they want to do more. The bullpen, I like. They've added a few arms. I think they're fine. Roll with what they've got. Bullpens are so unpredictable anyway, so they've got it. If they want to pick up another arm or two of a reliable pitcher who's proven it in the past, great. Awesome. Thing that they do need to focus on is getting another starting pitcher. They need a reliable 4 or 5 starter, maybe 2 of them. There's guys injured right now. Zach Eflin's not going to be ready for opening day. Zach Wheeler is a question mark. Ranger Suarez is a question mark. So there's a bunch of question marks, and throughout the season, people are going to get injured. So bring in a couple of guys that you can just plug in. They'll pitch 5 or 6 innings. They'll give up 4 or 5 runs. Awesome. This offense should be able to average 6 or 7 runs a night, to be honest. If they need to rely on the offense every 5th day, that's fine. As long as it's not a bunch of bullpen games or Vince Velasquez coming back, who signed with another team. I think it was the White Sox, so don't need to worry about that anymore. While there aren't a lot of free agents out there in the starting pitching market, there are a few that I think would be fine. We have Zach Davies. He's proven in the past that he can be a top 3 starter. He hasn't been great in his last couple of years, but he is at least a major league pitcher. He doesn't throw hard, so that fits in with the old Phillies, but regardless, he has proven that he can throw in the big leagues. He's still young at 29, so I think that would be a great 4 or 5 starter. Chris Archer, he's been all over the league. That at least would be fun for me if Chris Archer was a Philly, and at the very least, I feel like he's probably a great clubhouse guy, so why not bring more of those guys in? Former Braves Julio Teheran or Mike Foltynewicz could be good options. However, going against the Braves, they may have their number knowing exactly how they pitch, so that's a little Cole Hamels is still out there. He's a free agent. A lot of Philly fans would love that reunion. Not sure if I really would care about having Cole Hamels back. I'd obviously be super excited and be like, oh, perfect. He'll teach some of our young guys or yada yada, something like that. But actuality, I don't know if a 38-year-old Cole Hamels is actually what you're kind of looking for. He may not be able to do that 5 innings, 4 runs anymore. Maybe take a shot at a couple of young guys. There's Cody Ponce, who last pitched with Pittsburgh. He's 27, turning 28, but doesn't have a lot of major league experience. Luis Madero, he was with the Miami Marlins. Marlins are usually pretty good at developing pitchers, so I say that they go take a few flyers on these guys. They've already gone over the luxury tax. Utilize that $20 million. You don't necessarily need to go after a big name. Bring in a couple of potentially reliable, even if it's not great, maybe not even average, but just slightly worse than average pitchers that can at least hold it until Zach Wheeler is healthy, and then you have a great starting pitching rotation if everybody's healthy. Wheeler, Nola, Eflin, Gibson, Ranger Suarez, assuming he can be as good as he was last year. Boom. Those would be fine. They just need those guys to limit the damage in the meantime and let the offense get rolling. And then how about those Minnesota Twins? Shout out Uncle Tony and Grandma D. Last video we talked about they traded away a bunch of money so that they could sign Trevor Story. Trevor Story is the guy. He's got to be coming here because otherwise what is going on with the Twins? But no, they get a different shortstop. In the middle of the night, it is released that Carlos Correa, the Astros shortstop, the number 5 in the MVP rankings last season, is a Minnesota Twin. Number 7 in the MLB Network rankings last season for all shortstops. But then if you look at the people that he was behind, I'd say he is top 5 right now. Trevor Story, you match up the 2 years that they had, Carlos Correa had a better year. Fernando Tatis Jr., when healthy, yes, better, but he's never healthy and he's hurt again. Put Carlos Correa above him. The only guys that I think are above him, and you could even still put an argument, are Xander Bogaerts. I think he is he's just amazing over in Boston. Xander Bogaerts is my second favorite shortstop, I think, in the entire league. Trey Turner, my favorite shortstop in the league. He's just awesome. Yeah, he played some second base, but he's really a shortstop, and his speed, his hitting, his defense is good enough. Boom. I would rather have him than Carlos Correa personally, even though Correa has a little bit more pop. And then Corey Seager would be the other guy, and that's a good argument to have either direction. So definitely top 5, coming to Minnesota Twins, $35+ million a year, opt-outs after years 1 and 2. People are worried about that. Listen, if you're worried about Carlos Correa, he didn't get the contract that he wanted. No team wanted to give him a long-term deal. Okay, cool. If he's trying to opt out next year, either A, doesn't matter, he's got to play well for the Twins, because if he doesn't, he's not going to get the contract that he wants anyway, and then he's not going to opt out. So then we have another chance with him at shortstop. So he's going to play well, and the Twins, with this offense now, have a legitimate chance at being back to where they were in 2020 and back to where they were in 2019, competing for the division and going to the playoffs. That's what we're hoping for, and I think Carlos Correa being there gives them that chance, assuming they go get another starting pitcher, we'll get to in a little bit. The other option, which could be the worst case scenario, is that he plays really well. Twins still miss out on the playoffs, and he plays well enough that some team does give him that 7-year deal that he wants, so he opts out, goes somewhere else for a long-term deal. But then the Twins still have a ton of money. Buxton is like the only guy that's locked up and making any money. Sonny Gray to an extent, but it's not even a long-term deal. So they still have tons of money to play with. They'll still have a fantastic offense, and they'll be able to go try to get another guy. Sure, the shortstops aren't all available. Most of them were gone last year. But hey, Trey Turner will be available. Bring in my guy, Twins, next year. Maybe it'll be beautiful. You go from Simmons to Correa to Turner. Oh, now I'm just getting excited. I hope Correa opts out so they can get Turner. But regardless, this is a fantastic deal, and the Twins become contenders, assuming that they go after one more starting pitcher at least. Starting pitcher-wise, they need to go after one of the Oakland A's starting pitchers. As mentioned, nobody on the board is good enough for the Twins to bring into their starting rotation and then be like, okay, here we go, we have a chance at the division. If the Twins are able to bring in either Minaya or Montas from the A's, then they have 2 guys that could be number 1s, or they're definitely very strong number 2s, in Gray or one of them. Then you have Dylan Bundy, who is a consistent major league pitcher. He's not a first-round pick level. He hasn't lived up to the hype of being a top 5 pick, but he will be a strong number 3. Then you have Bailey Ober and John Ryan, who got their major league experience last year. They both pitched fine. They were young. They were getting their first major league experience. You assume that they're going to get better, so you at least have a solid and consistent starting five. You still have Randy Dobnak. You still have Lewis Thorpe. You have guys that can come in and throw pitches, even if there are some injuries, and then they can also go and sign one of those guys that I mentioned, Julio Teheran, Chris Archer, Mike Fultonavich, Matt Harvey. Maybe you want to take a flyer on. Try out that Madero guy. There's other starting pitchers that'll be very cheap that they can easily plug in to add depth to their starting rotation and let this offense go on fire. Phillies need a couple of starting pitchers for depth reasons. Twins need that as well, but they really need a guy who can be a strong number 1 or 2 for me to truly be excited that they can compete with the White Sox in the division and at the very least compete with the other teams in the American League for a wild card spot. We'll see if they get that done. There's been a lot of talk of them going after Frankie Montas, so here's hoping for that. We'll just have to sit back and wait and see. But when we look at these teams offensively, it's at least going to be fun. Every single game, you know that they're going to have a chance. Even if they fall behind because of the pitching, both offenses are going to be able to come back in any game. This is one potential projection for the starting lineups of each team. Obviously, you can go up and down. DHs will change. Both teams have a lot of different options that they can plug and play. The Phillies have Schwarber that could DH some nights. They could then have Castellanos DH. They could bring in Bohm. They can have Luke Williams play somewhere in the infield to give somebody else a day off. Lots of different options for the Phillies. And then the same thing for the Twins. Buxton, you want to give him a day off. Obviously, they've always had the DH. But you have Gary Sanchez. You have Jeffers who can then play there. Sanchez can go to the DH. If you want to have the outfield be expanded a little bit more, have Arias go into the DH. Or if you want Urshela to play third and you don't want Arias in the outfield, have him be the DH. You want to give Urshela a day off, you still keep all these great bats. So much potential. The lineup could be flipped a million different ways and it'll be successful regardless. So offenses are popping. These two teams are looking to win, and that's the most exciting part. They're both spending money. It's not at the same level at all. The Phillies are over the luxury tax. The Twins are still around where they are, like 130 million-ish or something like that. But they both are going at it, and they both are looking to win. And you can't help but be excited if you're a Twins and a Phillies fan. And if you're both like me, it's just phenomenal. So can't wait for the season to start. April 7th, April 8th. Get here faster because I just can't wait. Get excited, Twins fans. Get excited, Phillies fans. We are in for a treat here in 2022. The Twins are back. The Phillies are back. 2021 was a fluke for the Twins. The Phillies are going to break their playoff drought this season. Let's go. Thank you all for watching this video. A lot more baseball videos to come in the future. I might talk some NFL. I know that there's a ton of different stuff going on. Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. A lot of stuff to talk about. I could make it a video a day, but right now, we're slowing our roll. We'll get there. We're working on it. March Madness, pointing at my TV right now because I got a game going on right now. We'll talk about that and my bracket, and I'll show you how I actually fully did my bracket and how well I'm doing thus far or not doing. So look out for those. Look out for season previews and other stuff baseball related. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Do whatever you want to do. I just appreciate that you clicked on this video at all. So thank you all. Go Phillies. Go Twins. See you all next time.